Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
And yes, welcome back to yet another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast, episode 151, with one, predictions champion retaining once again in myself. That is me, Owen, and I am your Sharp Break Kid. Along with me right now is my good friend Duncan, the king of Bong Style. And I believe that joining us shortly will be Matthew. So we'll have a full crew in just a little bit. I'm noticing that the Twitch feed is dropping a lot of frames, and my apologies if it's a little choppy for you. Hopefully that kind of sorts itself out. Sometimes it'll do it, sometimes it won't. But don't ever forget, you can always check out this show as a podcast wherever you find your podcast. Just search for Ohno Wrestling or go to ohnowrestling.com. That being said, Duncan, how are you, my good friend?
Doing good. Glad to be rocking and rolling a little bit earlier than usual.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nice to switch things up a bit.
Yeah.
I got an early curtain call in the morning, so I gotta make things happen for that. But yeah, bud, it's been kind of another interesting week in wrestling. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about from one. What do we call it? The Saudi blood money extravaganza, and
Yeah, I think we call it. Yeah, we've just been taken to calling them blood money.
Blood money, good old blood money.
Good old blood money.
Hey, I'll say this, and we'll start off with this. At least that shit is canon now. It seems like that they actually take it a little bit more seriously, and without getting into all the politics and the nasty stuff, because let's just be real, that's not what we're here to do. You do kind of have to acknowledge it, in a certain sense, and I'll try and focus on the positives and the fact that yes, it is a little bit more canon now. We've got a little bit more congruency with how it was the first time that they've done one of this in Saudi Arabia that's not just kind of like, what have they called them in the past? I forgot what they've called them.
Crown Jewel.
Yeah, Crown Jewel was one, and I think there's another one. But
The greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, there was that. There was that time.
Great Balls of Fire. No, that wasn't.
Oh yeah, no.
That was the phallic logo though.
So with this being a actual elimination chamber, oh wow, someone's here already. That's nice and quick. It looks like Matthew is joining the chat, entering the building, and
Globsky has entered the chat.
Exactly. How are you, buddy?
Good. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I got caught up in Jeddah. They wouldn't let me leave.
Not that.
No.
Yeah, you couldn't get a ride on Brock Lesnar's private jet.
Yeah, no. He was too busy. He had it loaded up with cool fucking clothes and cowboy hats.
Yeah. I'm just a little bit too full, and I've seen him lately. He's been giving all the love to the children's. He's been high-fiving the kids.
Even in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Living his best
Like
beast
he
life.
was like making multiple faces for the selfies.
Yeah, he
Did
was.
you see that? He was like,
Yeah, he's doing all stupid shit. Like, I
Yeah.
love this new Brock is amazing, and you
Mhm.
really haven't missed much of anything, Matthew. We just kind of started, just went on air. But yeah, we're gonna be talking a little bit about the. I was trying to focus on the positives of Elimination Chamber, and it's just saying that it's nice that it is a more canon event now, in the fact that it's the first time they've done an actual, like, previously existing pay-per-view in Saudi, and that we can hopefully, like, if they're gonna do these shows over there, that's not just make them essentially glorified big budget house shows. That's do something, with them that kind of, relates to the rest of the WWE universe and its canon and all that. So
They've been MSG shows in Saudi Arabia, is what they felt like.
That's totally right. Yeah.
yeah. But I also think like it's a good move on their part, but I also think it's a publicity. Like they're like,
Yeah.
if we make this part of our canon, right? Like, we make it like a huge part of the storyline. It is a bigger pay-per-view that people are used to. They're going to tune in. Whereas if they were bitching about Saudi Arabia before that, and they're like, we aren't going to watch, like, I've canceled my subscription before, right? And had it canceled for up to a year. I did watch it.
I did too. This was the first Saudi show that I watched live in its entirety.
Same.
It was the first time. And so, I gotta, again, focus on the positives. Kind of nice watching a show so early in the day as well. Like, I know a lot of people will criticize it. Well, it's not prime time. It's not, major appointment viewing. But for me, it was nice to, if you were off on a Saturday and you maybe had plans later on in the day, it was great to be able to, like, I went out to dinner after a pay-per-view, like I was able to enjoy it in my pajamas, lazily enjoying a Saturday afternoon while watching this pay-per-view. And there's something to be said for that. And I think, like, learning from that, they should maybe even attempt to bring back the idea of Saturday morning wrestling in some degree. Some companies should do that. And I feel like
it's a missed opportunity right now.
It really, really is. I feel like AEW would be very, very smart to, if they were to ever, like, put a Dark or an Elevation on TV, that would be the perfect sort of slot for that type of show.
I think WWE, aren't they bringing main event back to Saturday nights? Wasn't that released in news this past week?
Yeah.
So there's that. It's not Saturday mornings, but I think Saturday morning thing is tough. I see the pros and the cons of it. I think you might have to start it with, God, I don't even know if I was going to say a replay, but everyone has DVRs, because that's what I do. If I miss something, I usually typically get home, I'll watch like Rampage or something, and then anything I miss during the week, I wake up on the Saturday late,
go back and
like drink coffee and sit there at the pub and cook breakfast and like watch wrestling. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess if it was on, I guess the timing of it, though, because they typically do things East Coast time,
might be
like
too early for you.
Mountain and Western.
Well, I think also that you'd have to look at it like, I don't think you'd want to put Rampage or Elevation on there. You'd have to do a brand new show.
I think that's the way to go. Yes.
An hour long, like they used to do. It
should be a recap show, because so much of us don't watch Dark and Dark Elevation, and we don't understand, like, oh, why is this person so high in the rankings or what have you? Well, it's all because of their wins and losses that have happened on Dark or Dark Elevation
that we haven't watched.
We haven't watched. You highlight some of those. You show some of those matches with a little bit of, like, this is what happened this week on blah, blah, blah. And you just format an almost studio show that has the pre-recorded matches that you can slot in there and tell the narrative and kind of further storylines based on, on what's happened on those other shows on a Saturday morning. I think that'd be a perfect fit.
What if Cody gets his own cartoon? So you do really early in the morning, the Cody cartoon for the young kids.
The Cody Show.
Yeah, that leads into the new Cody wrestling extravaganza Saturday morning bonanza. I kick ass. I wrestle myself every week, and it's different versions of myself throughout the whole show. Then after that, he could do a recap show, which is more kind of staged. Then after that, They do a Roads to the Top marathon, which leads you to the shitty version of whatever the game show he's on early evening, and it's basically a full day of fucking Cody.
I
Yeah,
feel like
the CWC is going to be Cody's wrestling company.
yeah, that's it. I like it. Hey, he's clearly worth that $3 million. So
He sure is.
That's what I'm hearing. But we'll get to Cody in just a second, for sure. We will. But other positives, I'll say we'll start with the positives before we get into some of the negatives with the Chamber, but or Blood Money. I liked on this occasion that at least the women weren't just wearing their t-shirts with like leggings underneath. They did, I think, like, it's still kind of course, insulting and bullshit that they have to go to these extremes for the women in general, regarding this, but they at least made all of their attire make sense. They had, it was character driven. It was
just basically long sleeve versions of their current gear.
Yeah, but it looked good. But it looked like some of Rhea actually kind of should be wearing that every week, or like occasionally should be wearing that. She looks amazing in that. Like it really suited her. I thought Liv Morgan's kind of Britney Spears thing was neat. Like
I was for it.
Yeah, I mean, hard to.
We were all for that.
Hard to knock. And even then, in not necessarily in the Chamber match, but it was cool to see like Ronda. Like it was inventive for her to use her like jujitsu kind of gi thing or whatever you call that
she wore in the Olympics apparently.
Oh, was it like that exact one?
Yeah.
Oh no shit.
They're saying that that's the one that she won her bronze medal in.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Fun fact: she also gave birth in it.
Oh.
I mean, it looks comfy. It looks comfy.
It does look comfy, but you know that those gis are like that stiff fucking like cotton. Yeah. They look comfy, but they're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
It's like a hotel towel.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I could grab some right now. We could do a test.
You could make a gi out of it right now.
Yeah, but I will say, the facility that I'm at this week and have been living at, they have these uniforms, these scrubs that you get in. These things, I swear to God, are made from the back of nuns' knees, man. They are like the softest fucking thing in the entire. I was like, can I like take these home and like just sleep in them?
I've never heard that expression before.
I know, the back of nuns'
I've never heard that one. I've heard soft as a baby's ass or whatever, but
yeah, back of nuns' knees is a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Is that a Canadian-ism?
I don't know where I picked it up, really. I mean, I can't take credit for like inventing it, but I obviously picked it up somewhere. I've been using it for years. It's stuck with me.
I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna definitely
steal it. I took it from someone.
Other positives. I mean, as much as I'm pained to see that Lashley is in fact injured, no one ever wants to hear that. Totally worked me and Duncan, by the way. Like we were
like, oh, is that legit?
Yeah.
That might have been. This might be a shoot.
When I watched it, though, I was just like, it didn't really look like he got hurt. Like when it happened, I was like, what was that? And then they showed the replay, and I was like,
yeah,
it just felt clunky to me. I mean, it was a good way to write him off for a while. And they did what they had to do, so I'm not mad at it by any means.
No.
I mean, they did, like, I don't know. It looked clunky, I guess just me being nitpicky, because they did get somewhat good camera angles on some of their stuff. Like, when Brock threw Austin Theory off the top, right?
Well, that's on my list of awesome things that happened on the pay-per-view, like positive.
They chose a really good camera angle, because had they done a wide or like you would have seen him, like, because he was going to land on his feet to break that fall, right? The way he did. But the camera angle they chose worked really well.
It did. Kevin Dunn was actually on decent form that day. Maybe it wasn't Kevin Dunn, it was the Saudi Kevin Dunn. But yeah, they did do that well. I'm not mad at the result. I think all of us are like kind of in love with this current version of Brock Lesnar. There's nothing to dislike in it. He's become a human being. He's become relatable, and the way that he just like, I don't know, almost levitated up the cage when Theory was running away. Like
That was some serious, like, next level. I I was texting with our boy Reggie, and I was just like, holy shit. He was just like, yo, he really did his best me, didn't he? And like just fucking like scaled up that thing. Like it was literally, he jumped. It was like
it was
one
parkour.
step. He one step like cleared the ropes and just like a fucking animal, two rungs and just up there.
It was the bear chasing a person up a tree.
Yeah.
Like that's that's what it was. And you know what I liked about all of that like spot and that whole thing that happened was I loved the little thing that Austin Theory had figured out probably prior, that he is small enough to get through that one section of the chamber through like that's something that has never been explored in the chamber in all of its history, but he had seen something where he's like, I can get through that. And that can and it really inspired the whole spot, because if he hadn't have like almost gotten out there would have been no reason for Brock to really chase him up there, right?
Exactly. So, but like you could tell that he was like, oh shit, he's about to get out. Brock's like, mm-mm. And I watched the Pat McAfee interview with Brock. I know I'm a little late to the party on that one, but like I actually sat down yesterday and I had time and I just watched it, and I was just like, when McAfee referred to him as the alpha male of our species, I was just like,
that couldn't be more accurate.
It could not be more accurate. Like
he
that
might
dude
be,
is on another level.
He might be, just as far as athleticism goes, the greatest athlete to ever perform in a wrestling ring. Pure athlete. Like I don't know that you can really make an argument for anyone else like to top him with that. I mean,
no. And then after the performance at Blood Money Chamber, and then watching that interview, and this past week on Raw, or last night on Raw, but like I'm like, oh my god, is Brock on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling now? Like, because with I went from being such a but is he not though? It's been over 20 years that he's been in the business, and like they hyped him as the next big thing, and they're right, and he's still like,
and credit for the reinvention. I mean, for pulling a Jericho. I think to be like on that Rushmore, you kind of have to be one of those figures. You know, like that's without like Hogan turning to Hollywood, is Hogan on that, right? Like I don't know that he is. Like
well, he is strictly because of like that 80s golden era.
Yes.
But if you're just going
without going to Hollywood, he wouldn't have been able to extend, I think, beyond that. Like he wouldn't have been keeping that WCW going, and like we wouldn't remember him for any of that if he was just kept as Hogan, Hulk Hogan.
And he would have fallen off and wouldn't have been as good of a draw like later down the road had he not done that. Yeah. So, credit where credit's due. But with Brock, this reinvention, does open, the 100% possibility that he's edging up there as one of the four, if you want to,
But in reality, what do you both think then? Like, okay, he's done this character, a little bit of a character change, still the Beast, right? But like, a little more you can get behind him and everything. It has been mentioned on the Pat McAfee show and, in other articles and things recently online, I feel like I've read so much that they've stressed his 20 years, right?
Right.
And do you think this is his last big run for a while, because then he goes away and then he just pops back up?
I think that could be a possibility.
Because you think he's probably got to be like, I mean, you even heard it when he was talking, right, on the Pat McAfee show, where he's like, I'm just having fun. Like he talks about how he like gets a lot of anxiety, he has to go hide out. Like he could be giving it all and giving it one, and he's like, it's like my swan song right here, and then I'll come back. He'll do like the big things Vince needs him to do, but I don't know if he'll be as involved in this storyline.
This is probably his last run as a quote unquote full timer. Like we've seen Brock.
And I think that's okay.
I think that's fine. I think that's 100%
Yeah.
fine.
That
I
is
think
okay.
that I think that what he needs now at this point in his career, right, is like he needs to beat Roman, right? Because we've booked ourselves into a corner with Roman.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't know. Because I think that they would, because Roman can lose to Brock and it's believable. And then Roman doesn't have to lose to somebody else who's not ready.
Who won the last time they met? Did Roman beat him the last time they met, or did Brock?
Sure, I'll pull up
Roman won because
I'll pull up their history though. Let me see.
I feel I
Roman
think
won
right.
because Brock, like, that was when Paulie turned on him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of I agree with you, Duncan, in the sense that the Roman thing is sort of, I mean, it is getting stale, and I think, but I don't know that Vince kind of, I don't know. I feel like Vince still has the money on Roman, and I feel like Brock's probably gonna drop that belt to him, and then we have a Roman 2 Reigns.
I don't think that, because they have not officially announced that it's title for title. It's just
I thought
champion
they did.
versus. No, we all just assumed that, but I have gone back and looked through like the promotional material.
They have said champion versus champion. Duncan's
champion
right.
versus champion.
They haven't
title
said
for title
versus title
yet.
Yeah.
And I think that they would be stupid to unify the titles.
Yeah, I don't want a unification. I feel like you do it, if you do it that way, you can do sort of a like a Becky 2 belts thing, right? Like you can have.
But that's not what it is.
Right.
No, it's not. But how great would it be? Let's just say this was Brock's fucking little run before a little while. He beats Roman. He takes both the belts. And then he's like, I don't even want these fucking things. And he fucking just throws them and walks out.
Dude, like,
I don't even need him.
Have him walk out through the crowd, too.
Oh, yeah. With his
Taking
erratic
taking
behavior.
Selfies and, like, doing that sort of thing. I will also say this. Duncan, I like what you're saying. Like, it makes sense. Like, Roman can lose to Brock. It makes sense. And the believability of it, and really, who else does Roman have to challenge him right now, right? Like, he doesn't really have anyone. We've seen all of this, but at the same time, and I briefly talked with Owen the other day when and I kind of brought this up, like, Roman already beat Lesnar's title, right? He's now third person to hold it, the third longest in 38 years or something like that. I don't know. Or the longest, whatever the stat is.
Whatever the stat is, yeah.
They could make one up and I wouldn't know. But regardless,
I'm sure they do.
Like, I had the thought, like, Lesnar is such a legend, right? And he is. And Roman, he's going to always be in wrestling books and, online and everything as, like, a main thing. But, like, if at this point in a match like this, you seriously wanted to make him legendary,
get him to that next level, because would be the way to do
Brock
it.
Is, I think, more going to do like a Cena type thing, right, where he shows up when he needs to every now and maybe it's a short. It's the summer of the autumn of Brock, or something, but I think, if he's going to do something like that, which we don't know, you need to have that guy. And like, but like Roman needs something more than what he has now, because it's been a great bloodline. Like, it's been the best Roman Reigns I've seen, and I've gotten behind it, but I kind of,
where do we go
more
from here?
It needs some new life. And I don't know how you find that new life. I don't know if you bring up the other, like, who I always call the third Uso that's in NXT, the
other one.
The other one. Like, I don't know if you need to do something like that. I don't know if it needs more members, if it needs a dismantling of the bloodline. I truly don't know how you keep this interesting, but they do need to keep it interesting, and it's getting troublesome.
They're
They're ru-
running out of the road.
They
Like,
are.
that's the thing.
They
Like,
did book themselves into a corner with it.
Yeah. And so if it's not a title versus, if it's not a winner take all match,
Yeah.
then right, like, then who cares who wins? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it sort of devalues the whole like hype of the match too if it's not that way, right? Like I would be less
It
interested in
does.
it.
But what if? Big what if? But what if you did it this way? Brock wins. There's some sort of fuckery, right? And that fuckery has to do with the bloodline and like someone crossing the line towards Roman, which is how he gets, F5'd or something like that, right? Something where he gets distracted, whatever. You can blame it on them. Then you do this like infighting in the bloodline. You set up matches with Roman against these people as the bloodline starts breaking down. And he's like, I'm better than all of you. My bloodline's a better bloodline, like we came from it, but mine's fucking the best, like he starts taking the Usos, like you run through everyone. Then that's how you fucking get to the Rock.
That's how you get to the Rock.
And then the Rock is like, no, he's like, this is my bloodline, not your bloodline. And you can still put Roman over and Rock can fucking job to him, after a really good match or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could do it that way. That would keep me a little bit more engaged for longer term, keeping this character and doing something. Because if not, I just have the feeling, again, I've loved it, but I have the feeling I'm gonna get sick of it fairly soon after Mania if there's nothing new. And there really isn't anyone for him to wrestle that we haven't seen.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Because
Cody
Drew's not a viable threat. And we'll get to the Cody stuff a little bit later. But I don't know that there's no way in hell that I see Cody coming straight in and beating Roman. Like I just don't see that in a million years. I feel like he's going to be a main event player. Oh, Dolph, that's it. That's the guy. Yes. I mean, maybe like, I don't know if you can, but like if they, I've heard Braun Breaker should be the guy. Like, I don't see that either. Like, that's not. He's got a long ways. Like, he'll be there eventually, but he's got a long way to go before we get there. I don't know. Speculation. It's running rampant, but I feel like no matter who is the guy, it's kind of gonna be a letdown at this point. Like it, and Roman might be best served to drop it sooner rather than later, go away for a little bit and come back a little bit more refreshed and, and reinvigorate him, in a different style again, like talk about another like reinvention. Like, so I really am 50-50 with the Brock Roman thing. I really am. I can't call it as of right now with WrestleMania, and
it's a little too early for it still.
It is.
Especially because like they were really harping on this. Well, Brock's going to have to defend his title in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, what was that about? I missed some of this. Like, so.
Yeah, apparently Brock has to defend. They said that it was going to be against Bobby Lashley.
But it clearly isn't at this point right now.
Because he's going to have surgery. So what are we doing here?
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like,
yeah,
is maybe you do Drew because of their history, the Brock Drew thing?
Yeah, sure. But like, is it gonna just be a match? Like, what are we doing?
It's an untelevised show, is it, or is it like a network special or something like that?
No, it's just it's
a house show.
It's a house show.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. I don't know that's gonna even inform anything that happens towards Mania, but
I don't think it is.
I feel like that's just an excuse to sell out, Madison Square Garden, and
also,
Brock's gonna have the title on the line.
2 nights this year, and I don't feel like we have 2 nights worth of fucking matches.
Certainly not yet.
But it's just over a month out.
Yeah, we're getting close. Like they need to start like hopping on it. I mean, I think we've got essentially
5 weeks,
and we've got what, like 4 matches booked, maybe 5.
So
5
Brock
Roman, Becky Bianca,
Flair,
Ronda,
Oh yeah.
Miz.
Oh God.
Miz
and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul with one of the Pauls. Who cares? They're both dickheads. Against Ray and Dom. I think we can make an assumption that Drew Baron Corbin will probably get on one of the nights Sammy Knoxville. So we're at 6. But still, like that's
so that's like
6
that's
over.
not even
That's not even one night
card.
Yeah, that's not even exactly. So they got to really figure something out. I guess we're building towards Edge and someone. And again, like speculation that could be Cody based upon what they.
Sure.
I mean, like he was one of the ones that dropped a couple of little Cody hints on last night's Raw,
but he also dropped AJ Styles hints in the same promo. So.
Yeah, that's the other one I was gonna say. That's kind of what I'm thinking they're leaning towards, AJ Styles Edge.
Yeah. I think so too, and I think I'd prefer that because I don't know that I want to see Cody Edge. I don't.
I don't know if I want to see Cody versus a lot of people in WWE.
I don't know that I want to see
Cody at all.
No, exactly. Like I really don't. Like even with the rumors, like he's at the Performance Center this week or something. People are like working on his promos, and I was like, all he's done is work on his fucking promos.
Yeah.
The guy wakes up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and works on his promos.
Right. And he did set himself on fire for you, Matthew. Come on.
I said on
look,
this
he
podcast,
got a shitty neck tattoo.
I said I said his matches have been good though. He has put himself out there. Like in AEW.
That last Sammy match was a banger. You can't knock that.
He had some really good matches.
Yeah.
As much as I really hope, and Duncan, you were there too when we booed him. You weren't on the last show, and we missed you, and we did reminisce that maybe it was us. We booed too hard. That's what caused him to fuck.
Mostly me.
He teased retiring that night. He tried to take the boot off.
Yeah.
I mean,
this time he's
but
like,
look,
it's just been
I'm
sitting
wearing the Spite shirt that I bought that night.
Maybe it was Malachi and the Black Mist all along.
Think it was.
Maybe it was.
I keep thinking, I'm like, what if Cody doesn't go to WWE? What if Cody's just done?
What if he's done? What if this theory that I had, what if, because Jay White is in AEW right now, right?
I like this theory.
Jay White is literally everywhere.
Right.
But he does the whole like kicking down of the actual whole Forbidden Door thing with New Japan, because there is the rumor that AEW and New Japan are going to do a stadium show.
Yep.
And if that were the case, Cody goes over there. Cody starts doing a bunch of stuff. But because Jay White has been saying like he's like the actual full-on Bullet Club, right? You could then eventually like build like a AEW the Bullet Club sale and have Cody do some sort of stable over there trying to like get in on it. You could do this whole clash,
right,
at some huge stadium.
And that's the thing is like I don't see how Cody going to WWE is beneficial for him.
I don't understand it. Looks
unless
like
it's wads of money. It's wads of money, you know. And I can see this. I can see the WWE side why they would want to offer him a ton of money, because it's a coup and the optics look great for them.
Yep,
it does.
Within a year,
he said
he's going to be jobbing.
Unhappy. He's good, but like if he could just be very, very unhappy again.
Yeah. Cody is a brat.
Yeah, I feel like if he would have signed a WWE contract, he will have signed something that has said, "I have to be the WWE champion within X amount of days and for X amount of time. Otherwise, your contract is like null void or something."
Apparently, one of the things, and this is just whatever someone wrote in an article, but it's to a good point if it's true. But it said something like, the sticking point wasn't the money for Cody. It was the fact that he didn't have creative control anymore.
Right.
Tony Khan did, and he didn't like that, because that's why he started it, because he wanted to have the control and everything. Yeah. And you think about Dusty, and you think about Dusty booking and things, and it's like, do you think WWE is going to let him book? Maybe, because of what he's done with the AEW, but I really don't think so. I think Vince doesn't give that reins, and anytime he does, I mean, every week we hear about Vince ripping up the script, so it doesn't even really matter. Although, did you see that they signed what's his name to creative a few weeks ago? I just read the article. Yeah, Drake Maverick, he's back.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that he was signed to creative. I did see that he had signed a new contract, but he's
Yeah,
behind the
so
scenes
he's
creative.
Yep.
creative for Raw,
Producer.
I think. Yeah.
I mean, he'll be good at that. That'll be a good fit for him. He's got
No,
a
he
good
will
mind
be
for the
good
business.
for him. I'm just
and good
they
for
just
him.
they just really keep releasing him and pulling him back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. That's like the third time in like 12 months.
It's
but
the third time he's been rehired. Yeah.
yeah.
It's just like the thing about Cody and the creative control. Like, I don't see Vince giving him creative
No.
control. And
Unless
he's
Vince
even
really
said,
wants to stick it to Trips.
I mean,
He's
oh
like,
yeah,
I took your NXT, I hired your
and that
fucking enemy.
and that is a great point because I can see Cody maybe taking over the reins of like sort of a Trips role or even like an on-screen Regal's role in NXT.
Yeah, do you think they may give him NXT and he goes up against Braun Breaker? God, they're gonna do that.
I can see that. I can see Cody
yeah.
being
Then Cody
the one.
jobs to Braun Breaker.
No, I
And
would
like,
see
they're
Cody
like-
taking
and
it
they're
from
like,
Braun.
Cody, we'll give you creative over 2.0, which is now 2.1.
Right? Like who?
2-point roads.
2-point roads.
Well,
Oh, God
I've had him.
That's the name of the show.
Like, I know that Cody at 2-point roads. Write it down.
NXT 2-point roads.
NXT
Yep.
2-point roads. So I know that Cody has said that that the Stardust, because somebody like tagged it. This was a couple years ago. Somebody tagged the Stardust action figure that they found at Walmart, and he was just like, "This toy bought me my house in Aspen, so I can't really be." So I know that he already made a fucking lot of money.
Yeah.
In WWE. So I know it's not about the money. I know it's about the creative. And I think that Cody, like, he's going to end up in WWE, but really he should just take his ball and go home because that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, you're probably right. I do kind of see the NXT thing happening just because of course Dusty's connection with NXT, so I feel like that.
But they're not harping on that anymore. Like, they're not trying
it's
to
a different it's a different show now too. It's
correct. They're not trying to focus on Dusty's connection to NXT. They're not trying to focus on anybody's connection to NXT. That's why it's 2.0 now.
But then again, you can bring in guys from the Nightmare Factory and stuff, like, with all his training school. Like, maybe they could use those in NXT 2.0. Like, that dropped in my head.
They could, but I don't think they will,
No.
because they're completely revamping their style of signing people now. Like, they're just going for college athletes and shit that they can mold into exactly what they want.
Do you think WWE has any sort of interest in Cody's internal knowledge of AEW affairs, be it the way the company is run or even contract details with certain people? Do you think that would be a reason that they would maybe want to, offer him a little bit more money than if he didn't have that previous experience as an EVP?
Maybe, but
I've heard that batted around, and I go through it with my head, like back and forth. Like, is that an extra like part of the coup, if you will?
Maybe
it's an extra part of the coup, but I think the dangerous thing, and I think it should be. I don't know. We all talk about it, so I guess we're not behind the scenes. We don't really know, but it appears to us that Cody has a really big fucking ego.
It does appear as though Cody has a gigantic
much bigger fucking ego than fucking Cody Rhodes.
I think maybe perhaps
Vince McMahon. Yeah, maybe Vince McMahon. So like I don't think Vince is I don't think he's the type of person who fucking who's like, yeah, I'll bring this guy on who I know has been told is kind of hard to work with. He kind of fucking talked a lot of shit about me. On top of like when he left and did all of this.
Right.
Sure, as a businessman, maybe I respect what he did. But now I'm going to let him come back on his terms.
Right.
Because I need him.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't even blame Vince for saying
I don't either.
kind of fuck you. Because if you leave my company to go start a rival and you expect me to just welcome you back after you've had a pretty decent amount of success...
And give you fucking creative control.
Yeah, give you carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want.
I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
24/7 division. You can come back and do some shit with Reg.
Every meme I've seen has been like, I saw the one that was just like what Cody thinks he's going to be doing, and he's holding up the Universal title, and like what Cody will probably be doing, and it's just like he's got the 24/7 title, and
As
there's
Stardust.
Truth. Yeah,
and Cody doesn't even seem like a believable fucking Universal or fucking WWE.
He's not a credible threat.
He doesn't seem like that to me, and. On top of it, like, he probably knew when he was leaving everyone was going to think this.
Yeah.
Like, what better? Like, his name is still buzzing around. He hasn't had to say anything.
Right.
Everyone's still wondering.
I still toy with the idea that his ego is a big part of the story, and that maybe he's doing this to be the guy that unlocks the biggest of forbidden doors between a WWE and AEW sort of talent exchange. Like
maybe
just to be the guy that says he did revolutionize pro wrestling and all, like.
How do you think Nick Khan feels about him now? That's another person you got to think about.
There it is.
Yeah.
Also,
like that dude, like, you think that dude's like, you already tried to perform somewhat of a hostile takeover by doing what you did. Like, you think you're gonna come back in here and like?
Well, he probably loves him because he's half the reason he has a job. in a way.
He doesn't need him though anymore.
No, he doesn't.
No,
he doesn't need him. Like, that's the thing at that level. Like, as wrestling fans, I think but like the more I think about it from the business side, I'm like, Vince has no fucking reason to, and I guarantee you a lot of people high up on the executives in WWE are like, fuck that.
Right. Also, why? Like, I just keep thinking, I'm like, it's why, in the world why would they bring Cody back? He's not going to bring the viewers back to WWE.
No, because like it's gonna be a weird Yabu scenario with Cody when he comes.
I will fucking I used to think I would pop until tonight, but like I will boo that man louder.
I think he's gonna get more boos than cheers, and I don't think he realizes that. I think that like he was so against this whole idea of becoming a heel and the ego and everything in AEW that he thought maybe, okay, I'll go back. I'll be a face in WWE. I'm a top guy now. I left. I've proven my worth. I can come back, command a lot more, respect, integrity, money, all those things. Be the top guy, screen time, and I'll be a face. And I think he's gonna be sadly disappointed with
colossally disappointed.
Yeah.
He also did start like the fucking promotion that took Bryan Danielson from fucking WWE
and got CM Punk back in the ring
and took Moxley and Jericho and countless others, of course, over the time.
So
yeah,
what you want to come crawling back?
You asked about what Nick Khan thinks of Cody. What does Tony Khan think of Cody, and would Tony like let him back in? The answer is probably yes to that. Like
I think there's something bigger at play here.
I think there probably is too, but I do foresee a day that Cody wrestles in an AEW ring again. Whether that's for and as an active member of the roster in AEW, whether it's a one-off, or whether it's a part of another promotion like New Japan.
So remember, I did kind of say like, what if he did do like a New Japan or Ring of Honor or something like that? He couldn't wrestle for the championship of AEW fucking while he was signed with AEW. But as an outside perspective, when they do a crossover or something, he could challenge for that title, and then he could be like, I'm the person who won the AEW title from being outside of AEW.
Didn't he say something too because he obviously went for the title, he lost it, and he went for it again and said, if I lose it this time, I'm never going for it again. I want to say there was a piece of verbiage in there that was like, as long as I'm an EVP, or like something that would fit in.
Probably was.
There was something that would fit into exactly what you're saying right now, Matthew. Like that would kind of either way, like would sort of like add to that story. And does this play into what I know we wanted to talk about, Duncan, before the show? We mentioned that we should talk about this.
Oh yeah.
Was that in all the stuff going on with the Bullet Club and, of course, Jay White? Cody was once a part of the Bullet Club. And could this fit into something that is part of that story? Maybe that's part of the missing piece that we haven't really put together.
It just, everything about it just feels like such a work. You know?
It feels like so much of a work if it was anyone else but him. You know?
They just announced that they were going to do another season of Roads to the Top.
That one is fishy. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And like, that's such a like backstage heavy show.
Yeah, if he's not in it, if he's not in AEW, why would they want to? Yeah, that would be weird, for sure.
So, okay. And then, I don't know.
Unless that whole show is centered around Cody's internal struggle of whether he wants to leave. Like, if that's the narrative they try and tell with it. Also, why would you leave a job that you had for life?
Right.
Like, that part is a bit weird to me as well. Like,
he has the job like as talent for life, but I don't necessarily think that the whole EVP thing was a for life gig.
Maybe not, but he certainly wasn't. I don't think. We don't know, right? But
we don't know. But based on pure speculation, it just feels like this feels like to me.
Did he work himself?
When Stone Cold left because he didn't want to do the job for Brock Lesnar,
right,
without a proper build, like this feels like he's just taking his ball and going home.
Might be. It might be. It might be the fact that it's one of those that AEW sounded better on paper to him than what it turned into, you know, like a few years down the road, like maybe he did think he was going to be head of booking or have much more influence on, you know.
Well, when AEW started, it was like he was the face of AEW. Yep. Him and Brandy were fucking everywhere.
Yep.
But over the last couple, like, that has definitely waned and, you know, gone away. They've tried to make the company speak for itself and not have it like one person. They don't need one person
because they have so many. And I've noticed too that Punk is doing a lot more of that activity. Yes. So I think Punk is always going to command more eyes and ears than Cody is.
Punk, Bryan, Mox, Jericho. Yeah. Let's be honest.
All of them better at that job than
Cody.
Even Hangman Page.
Yes.
Even Hangman Page. Yeah. Lovable dude, good looking, the champion, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah, like you can list 6 other people we just did that are ahead of Cody. And in that regard, and maybe, that could be part of the thing too. He's also, you know, he expressed pretty early on in AEW that he was planning on retiring sooner rather than later. Like that he didn't like, so he's always said that. So I can't call him a hypocrite there if that's indeed what he does. Right. He's expressed, you know, that he wants to do more in Hollywood with his acting. And then at certain points, he's even expressed his desire to get into politics. So this could, I mean, good luck with that one, but yeah, Cody can definitely do some stuff in some fucking B fucking level movies. Like, I don't ever see him becoming the next John Cena or The Rock, but
no, but he can, like, dude, I don't know. The Miz was in Marines, like Marine 4 through 6 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And so
I do think it was
shit has happened.
I do think it was hilarious though that as soon as the Miz hinted at Elimination Chamber that he was gonna like call a friend and get a partner, that everyone rushed, or a ton of people rushed to Cody, and I'm like, okay, if they bring Cody in that fashion, like
I'm sorry,
what? Like that would be dumb for WWE to do that, to like waste that, like, you know. Because you do have
What a
the
fucking waste that would
opportunity.
be.
You do have the opportunity to have a upper guy, right? Like lower upper card, upper mid card guy in Cody.
Sure.
And that is something that they can use and they can make money off of. A lot of people would probably pay to see him versus Finn Balor or AJ Styles. Like there's money just in those two programs.
Right.
And I think
You know what they're gonna do?
Randy Orton, Edge, they're probably gonna do something with those. Like,
Oh God, what are they gonna do, Matthew?
They're not gonna do any of that. He's gonna win King of the Ring. He's gonna be King Cody because we already did King Corbin. It's Nakamura, and we have to do something completely stupid. He wants to wear a fucking crown and pretend that he's the best with a fur fucking cape.
how do we
I totally see
get a
it.
sword in his hands for no reason?
He beats Drew McIntyre.
Beats Drew McIntyre for
Speeding
it. Sword on a pole match. Angela on a pole match.
If we could get out of this timeline immediately.
If we could get out of the worst timeline.
It's the Codyverse,
Yeah.
bro. We're back in it again.
If we could get out of the Codyverse. I don't want to live in the Codyverse.
I don't want to be part of that one.
No, I'm not going to be. I refuse to be.
NXT
no,
2.0 roads, bro. NXT 2.0 roads.
No.
Like, it's happening. I did want to briefly, because we just talked about McIntyre. I want to just say, rest in peace to Riddick Moss's neck, or Madcap Moss's neck, after the bump he took. What move is that where they do the flippy round? God damn it, I forgot what move it is now that Drew did to Madcap Moss. Oh man,
I forget what it's called too. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously picturing it, but
if I heard it, I'd like say yes or no, or if I heard the right thing.
I think the funniest part about that whole thing is that he went and apologized to Vince.
Did he?
Yeah, he's like, Vince, I'm sorry, I almost died.
Yeah, he like apparently went back and immediately and like apologized because he's the one who fucked up the move.
And
he did, and so, I mean, in what other scenarios can you literally like break your neck almost while on the job and be like, hey, I'm really sorry.
I'm really sorry. My bad. Yeah, exactly. No, that is hilarious. And I mean, it's good that he kind of fessed up to the fact, like, yeah, I fucked that one up. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, it's crazy to think that way, but I did for a second there. I'm like, did they rehearse that somehow or do something to where like, because it was such a bad botch, it looked intentional. That's how bad of a botch it was.
That's because Madcap Moss, as we know, is the most highly of technical and best wrestlers there is, which is why we've loved him for so long.
Like most of those Raw Underground talent that it spawned. Like most of them are probably the best of the best.
They are probably the best of the
trained by the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Dude, all right. Cody and Shane. All right, I like this timeline. Cody and Shane get together in a back alley, and Shane's like, "Dude, I got all these dudes," and he's like, "Cody's like, what are you talking about? Let's picture this like vignette. It's all dark stuff." Like takes him in through a back door, and like it's like a club, and it's like they got to go down the stairs, and you hear the like in the background, it's all
smoke
dark.
is billowing out.
Maybe like the walls are kind of wet. There's like things seeping through.
Sepia tones have come across our television screens.
Yeah, Cody's like, "Where are we?" His eyes are like, he tries to pull one of the belly stunts where his eyes are glowing because they walk through some black lights because he thinks they'll look cool.
Right.
And like then eventually we get down to the bottom of like a basement, and then there's like a cellar door. It goes down deeper.
Ooh.
Shane's like, "All right, what I'm going to show you, never tell anyone." He's like, "You want to see the real Nightmare Factory?" And Shane McMahon has shut down the door. And all those people who were down there, even the girls dancing, are still down there. He's starving them, giving them lotion, feeding them like just little scraps.
So he's Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Okay.
And it's underground. He's like, let's bring them up, and then they start their own promotion, and it's
Raw Underground
club.
It's just called Raw Underground,
and it's Cody and Shane running it. And Cody is like the Brad Pitt in Fight Club because that's how he sees himself.
Wow.
And he just wins and beats everyone.
I mean, it would probably be a better idea for
I'll
Cody
stay in
to
this
do
timeline.
that. Yeah, all right, we'll go with it. I do like the idea kind of on that like thought process though, is that now we do have a glaring hole in the Nightmare Factory at AEW, right? Like that's gonna be like, whoa, how do you explain that away, right? And I suggest,
Dustin?
it could, yeah, you could easily just like make it Dustin and QT Marshall like are the guys, right? That would be that's probably what they're gonna do. But I love the fact that Brian and Mox are talking about training their own talent and running the place together and like building killers. And what if it was maybe I would say more Danielson, and Mox, maybe in the beginning, but or maybe not at all. But like if you had just Danielson sort of take that over, that Nightmare Factory sort of thing, and turn it into a Danielson Dojo, which I've heard that name thrown around. I've heard the Dragon's Den, like you could do something there. You could kind of make that you could kayfabe that up. You could do something with that to kind of make it work, I feel like. And I think it would be cool. It would fit the narrative. I don't know if they'll go that route. But you do sort of have to do something to explain the Nightmare Factory thing.
I mean, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, is this one of the things? Is this like that? We always said WWE, like, it's just like, oh yeah, you'll forget about that.
Yeah.
Like, right? And just like, you'll forget about that.
I mean, AEW has just sort of done that with a couple of other things.
They have.
Yeah.
They have. They did it with the Nightmare Collective, for instance. Yeah. Like
perfect.
So,
it was a Nightmare family. I mean,
and if WWE hires Cody, are they hiring Brandy?
No.
I mean, even as his valet or anything, like
no,
they'll hire Pharaoh before they hire Brandy, and Pharaoh retired from wrestling after that one entrance.
I was going to say, I think she's done. I think the last time she was out when everyone was booing her, she's like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Her ego cannot take it.
And she's like, "Fuck them. We have a bunch of money.
Yep.
I have a kid now.
Yep.
Well, and she can keep doing her whatever shit she does on the outside. I don't know what Brandy does.
What does she do? I don't know.
Well,
she can do nothing.
She has a terrible cooking show on YouTube.
Okay, well, she's in the perfect position to have that because she doesn't need to do anything for the rest of her life. She's good.
It's true.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably
so that's
right.
a great position to be in. Well, I don't know. Cody's probably fucking kind of an asshole to be married to, but whatever. That was her choice.
Dude, anybody who's got that neck tattoo, douchebag.
Yeah, more than likely.
Hardcore douchebag. I will tattoo shame.
Have you guys seen? I asked Duncan if he'd seen it. Talk about douchebag. The trailer for the Graves and Carmella show or whatever they're called.
Corey and Carmella.
Did I see like multiple dildos in that?
Yeah. So Duncan, you haven't seen this trailer, right?
I have not seen this trailer.
Well, let me tell you, let me tell you, like some spoilers here. This show is gonna be sexy. I mean, if we were told that they fuck, if we were told it once, we were told it 100 times in this trailer.
Okay, I actually turned off the promo on Twitter when it was playing because I was like, I can't with this. But I watched like maybe a little over that first half, and before I was like, yeah, fuck this. And they probably, no joke, referenced them fucking 13 times.
Yes, this is not, yeah.
And I saw a dildo.
There's definitely a dildo in it, and I think at one point she asks him if he's trying to suck his own dick in the shower.
He would.
Yeah, he would. He would.
He would.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows if you're gonna do that, it's on a bed, so you don't fall over. But
Yeah, you gotta-
Well, you also don't want it to be slippery and wet.
Yeah.
That's
This
what
is
I'm saying,
this
like,
is
Tile,
dangerous.
tile hurts your back.
Didn't you hurt
Yeah.
your neck once, Corey? Don't do
No, it was concussions.
Oh, concussion. Yeah.
So still, good way to
Good way
get
to-
back into
Yeah.
Maybe
quote
him and
unquote
Mad
concussion
Cat Moss
protocol.
are in there practicing how to fall on your neck. I don't know.
Maybe it's a new type.
Jesus
It's a new
Christ.
type of bump. I've heard it's safer. It's safer than a flat pack and all that. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. Is that on? Do we know? Is that on USA? Is that on that? What was? Did they even say what that is on? Like, I don't know that I caught that.
It's on the Disappointment Network.
Yeah, it's apparently on our minds.
Oh God.
So we got to talk a little bit about the old the induction of one Undertaker to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Charles Montgomery Punk going into the Ring of Honor.
No, but
Hall of
good.
Fame.
I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. When we brought it up a couple weeks ago, I think he was, much like some of the other ones that have been announced. Pretty much everybody that we thought was going to be announced has been announced. It seems like Punk, Danielson, I think quite a few others, but those you kind of have to. I think Joe. I think they announced Joe, right? I think they did.
Maybe the
I think so.
Briscoes. Did they?
Briscoes
Yeah.
for sure. I feel like Joe was in there as well. Then I can't remember on top of that, but yeah, the Taker in the Hall of Fame is a no-brainer, of course. We all know that. It was only a matter of time. We kind of figured it would be this year. They want to probably do this in front of fans. Is he the only inductee?
He needs to be the only. I agree with Bubba Ray when he said that he should be the only.
Yeah,
inductee.
he probably should, and they should probably have a bunch of different inductors, essentially, like giving their own stories, whether it's video packages, whether it's live in person. I like that idea. I feel it is fitting. That's how you also get Vince to say a few words, because it won't be all just him doing it. Then you do, of course.
We only have Undertaker announced so far.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, but then logical ones, I feel like Kane, right? You got to have Kane say something.
Kane has to say something. Like JR should say something, but he won't be there, obviously.
Correct.
If he did, he'd fuck it up.
Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Foley for sure.
Foley.
And then I'd say Shawn Michaels as well.
Yeah.
That would probably be the way you do it. And
Foley, Shawn, Trips, there's so many that you could
even
do.
Austin,
Brock, Rock, Brett.
Nah, but that's another one that won't happen, of course. But
he just doesn't know how to talk anymore.
Yeah, poor guy.
But real quick,
did he ever?
We didn't talk about the best part of Elimination Chamber. We forgot. I'm just gonna before we go. Goldberg's last match.
It's gotta be. Please.
For the love of God! But everybody's just like, Goldberg can now go to AEW since he is officially a free agent. I'm like, don't
Tony
you put
Khan's
that
not
evil
that
in
stupid.
No, don't put that evil into the universe.
No,
I'd rather live in the Cody verse than that.
Yeah, no one needs that. No one needs that. Dude, do you see the type of wrestling they do in AEW? Goldberg can't hang. He can't hang. He can't hang in WWE barely. There was something was happening on the match, and I was just like, God, dude, you do just look like it just was tough for him to get it up.
Yeah, when he was
when
he was trying to get Roman in the jackhammer position. I know it was supposed to be the struggle
that
of
was it.
but
it was. That was it. It was tough.
And if you even attempt that move, you don't.
Just don't. And on top of that, I mean, he did do that Instagram post where he just. Did you see that or read it? Where he's like, yeah, it might be because I'm fucking jet lagged or blah blah blah. He called it Riyadh instead of Jeddah. And then he was like, yeah, he's like, blah blah whatever. No matter what happens, Roman will know that he messed with the wrong person. And he's like, but this could be my last match wrestling for this company. He did mention it, and then his hashtag was "Who's last."
and it fits Roman. Like it fits Roman to be the guy. Like
Also, I hope that Vince made a deal, and like that's why all the wrestlers got on their plane safe, is they left one as a sacrificial lamb. It's Goldberg.
It's Goldberg.
Who still thinks he's in a different town than he is. Like it doesn't even.
They just keep sending anyone who does anything wrong in Saudi Arabia. Like now your punishment is you run
here.
into like a coliseum and Goldberg spearing you.
I mean,
but as long as he tries to get you up for the jackhammer, you can always get out of it, so you're fine.
Yeah,
it's pretty fitting.
Yeah,
it's pretty fitting.
You get out of it, you live.
For Saudi Arabia, definitely pretty.
And he
fitting.
just keeps yelling, "Who's next?
Who's next, Riyadh?" While still in Jeddah.
Yeah, while still in Jeddah. Exactly. I did ask the question to the Facebook group, by the way, if you...
We can't gloss over Bullet Club either.
No. We'll definitely talk more about Bullet Club. But, of course, I asked, what would you like us to discuss? Our good friend Kyle Deuce of the Happy Hour with Ariel Induce podcast went ahead and he...
Is that a new name?
Yeah. Johnny's out and Ariel's in, apparently. So
was there a hostile takeover?
Yeah, definitely. I mean...
Cool.
I heard she's a bit
classic move.
Classic Cody move. Like Ariel.
Yeah.
It's a classic heel move.
Totally. He said, because fucking Polk County, did y'all see the card for the House of Glory Salvation fight pay-per-view? No, I didn't. No idea what the fuck any of that
House
is.
Of Glory is
I saw
House of Glory is
Briscoes versus Lucha Bros.
Is it House of Glory like
But I saw something a few weeks ago or a week or two ago on Instagram, and it was like Briscoes versus Lucha Bros.
Yeah, Lucha Bros and Briscoes. That's cool.
That match will be awesome.
Yeah, that match will be cool. Taya Valkyrie, maybe he's on there. I can't read.
What's the name of the event?
House of Glory Salvation. Yes, Salvation. Wait, that's different.
Yeah, it's a different one.
All right, here we go. We have on this card, Salvation Ministries, Pope. God, when you Google that, you actually get a lot of weird things.
Because there's
you gotta put wrestling on there at some point. Right?
Yeah, first time ever Lucha Bros versus Briscoe.
Yeah,
Bros.
that was I just clicked.
Literally the only thing I can fucking find.
It's the only thing I can find either.
All right, cool.
Sunrise International Church to Home of Salvation, Glory in the home.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Wait.
Nope.
8. Oh, 311. Okay, no, this is in British or European. All right. Singles match. No.
All right. Well,
we're going well. So Deuce, no.
This is no. We haven't.
Yeah, no.
And it's really hard to find.
No, send it to us and we'll look at the whole card. See what it tells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I found their Facebook. They have a Facebook. Low Key versus Gresham.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. That'll be good.
A crown jewel title match.
Crown jewel. Wait a minute. I thought we were over that. What?
They have a crown jewel title, I think.
Oh. Okay.
I think those are the only 2 matches. Everything else on their Instagram is for Repentance, which was on February 12th.
Is that a British promotion?
No, it's from New York.
Okay. I don't know much about it. He also asked what match he looking forward to the most at Revolution. So far, I mean, Cole and Hangman's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty dope match.
But I think honestly I think it's gonna be MJF Punk, man, with that dog collar match. Like that's kind of the one at the moment I'm looking forward to the most. Although I'm not probably going to be able to see it live and definitely not going to be there in person. It was able to sell my tickets though, thankfully.
Well, that's good.
That's
good.
Steve asks, he wants to talk about the potential of a new promotion started by EC3 and Braun. Well, yeah.
It's already started. It's called Control Your Narrative.
Yep. And I guess they're hinting at a TV deal of some
Hinting at a TV
description.
deal. They will be having an event in Orlando at Icon Park,
Yeah, it's like
which
the
is
day
not far from my house.
I think it's day before Revolution, right?
Yes.
It's yeah, they're doing it around Revolution on purpose, of course. So that's interesting. I don't know because, well, here's the thing. I haven't, like, from the little bits of the whole control your narrative stuff that has been released thus far, I haven't been a fan of it.
Right.
It's just not for me. I think I've talked about this before. I really did get burned out on the cinematic wrestling stuff, and it's kind of
Well,
it's that plus, like, it's, I don't know, it's more like horror movie esque in a lot of ways. And
well, it's like the talkover stuff.
the talkovers.
Yeah, like just with some of the stuff that when you do hear, like, even just the talk, like, I don't know, the whole
Yes.
audio and the whole thing is weird.
I thought you said taco, like Taco Bell, but no,
Oh
talk
no,
over
sorry,
stuff.
like talkovers, like they're
Yeah,
talking over,
yeah,
like
over the
it
match.
is the narrative. Yeah, the narrative of it's almost like when you ever seen those porns where it's like, like the girl late night and she's like, yeah, I never knew that Dylan would stay so late working so hard until the night I stayed, and it's like cutting through. It's like, this is weird. Like, can we just get to the fucking wrestling?
It's the wonder years of wrestling. It's the wonder years.
Yeah.
Like, it's that's what it is. And you know what? If you enjoy it, great. It's not for me. I don't see that promotion doing much.
I think it's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
Or niche, however you want to say it. But I think that it's very, they will find, and good for them, they will find a good cult group following. I just don't think it'll go anything beyond that, but I still think they're going to be successful in what it is they're trying to do with a core small group of fans.
They'll end up on one of these more obscure streaming services, like a Pluto or one of those, like
Tubi or
Tubi, or
where you're like, that exists,
or the horror one with Shudder, I think is the name of it.
Chiller.
So I can see something like that, which is for a lot of niche audience type stuff. I feel like that could work for them, and if they figure it out, great. But I don't know. I'm not sold.
What if they did a Shudder type thing with something like that, but they made it really dark?
Yeah.
And Bray had something to do with it, because Bray is friends with that horror dude who did the masks and the movie, and
And there's the connection with Adam Shearer or whatever, they've got.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying,
but it would fit. It would fit Bray's
that niche, Bray doing something that cool. Would be if he had this whole world and everything planned out, right?
I would give that a shot.
If Bray was involved and it was this is going to be a dark fucking horror wrestling thing, and I'd be like, I will check it out.
Yeah, I will give this.
I will 100% give that a shot. And if Bray is not doing it, then we should put that in an envelope and send it to ourselves.
Yeah, right.
And then get Bray to do it.
Exactly. We'll take 20%. That's all.
That's it.
So we do need to absolutely discuss, Duncan, what your thoughts are on the current developments with the one and only Bullet Club.
It's a big development.
Yes.
So not only is Jay White, cavorting around in Impact and New Japan,
but the Guerrillas
and
of
AEW
Destiny.
but they're at Impact's last pay-per-view event this past weekend was Guerrillas of Destiny versus Anderson and Gallows, the Good Brothers, for the Impact titles.
Yep.
And Jay White turned on the Guerrillas of Destiny, kicking the Guerrillas of Destiny out of the group. Tama Tonga, who has been in the Bullet Club the longest of anybody at this point.
Yep. Of the current people, right?
He was a day one.
He was a day one, like Finn.
Well, he was the last day one that was still in the group.
Yep.
So
I actually knew we were going to talk about this, so I have the history of Bullet Club pulled up.
But yeah, I wanted, because like Tama was in there with Fale and Anderson and Gallows.
Yep. So exactly. Yeah. So
5/3/2013.
You fucking nailed it.
Bullet Club Day. They do a sale on pro wrestling tees every year, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that was basically the group. You just named the 5.
So to have, of course,
that was the original Bullet Club.
I think we've all kind of have a shared thing with Jay White not necessarily being like our favorite dude, like our top guy.
I just can't take him seriously because he's from New Zealand.
That's part of it.
He just doesn't seem like very just. He doesn't seem like super fucking hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
like,
he's a hell of a bastard. He's a hell of a bastard. Like
sure.
he's got that part down. Yeah, it's interesting because it opens up so many of the other further questions with what, do we have a Tama Tonga popping up maybe in AEW, for instance, like as
I want to see all of that spill over.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what all of us want is to see kind of it a little bit everywhere.
Well, and did you see that the Bucks changed their Twitter header?
Oh, what was it this time?
It was never really cared for Tama, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he just responded with, "Suck my D, bitch."
Exactly.
So
good.
I would, dude, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised at all to see Tama Tonga and Jay White and the rest of the Bullet Club show up. Like, I have a feeling that Revolution is going to be a very interesting pay-per-view for the Elite
and the Bullet Club as well, probably. Yeah.
When is Finn Balor's contract up?
Oh my God.
Do
Not
all of this and then have fucking Prince Devitt come and be like, I was the original.
Yep. The original.
He was very short, but very original member.
Yeah.
That's correct. That is correct.
That would be so good.
That would be fucking huge.
And
you could do so much in between while his contract is running out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
And you know what I think would be even cooler with that? Like, yes, you can play some of that out, of course, on AEW TV, but I think this kind of needs to play out more in Japan. I think this kind of needs, like,
Cody.
Stop it.
Is he wrong though?
He's not. I mean, you could definitely do something with it. I'm interested to see where they go with it. I think you're absolutely right, Duncan, that this is obviously gonna tie into the Elite, Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, like now Jay White, Red Dragon, even sort of, in thing as well.
Like it's gonna be faction warfare.
This spider web of things is kind of getting out of control. I mean, we're gonna get there eventually, and I hope the payoff is as good as the ride. But it will be nice, a proper you're going to be able to market a pay-per-view on almost a faction warfare type scenario is really realistically what you're going to be able to do.
Like, honestly, that's perfect fodder for a stadium stampede.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if they go that route though. I feel like they'll take that more serious. I think they feel like they'll take it more seriously and have just like a series of matches, and yes, I think you could probably do blood and guts with it. A blood and guts would work. That would be good.
You could definitely do blood and guts.
Could you pull off like a 3-way blood and guts? So it's like a Bullet Club alignment. an elite, yeah, like an NXT old school, like there's so many different alignments you could throw in there. I think you could probably pull off like some sort of a 3-way dance with that, like a weird, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely could. It's most definitely a situation where AEW can, like, they just make shit up as they go along anyway, so they'll figure out a way to make a 3-way work if they want to. So, but like, yeah, you think about it. So, all right, how many people are on the teams, right? Is it 4 per?
Yeah, probably 3
then,
or 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Because you
Something,
got to figure. I mean, but
it would have to be 3 or 4, I think. Yeah,
but it can't happen until Kenny comes back, and Kenny's still a ways out.
Yeah. I think we'll see him sooner rather than later, but I don't think
he's a ways out from competing.
Yeah, exactly. So. I'm ready to see Kenny again now.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see Kenny again. Like, I think it's been enough time. I think he's gonna come back. Weirdly, a little bit more, of course, a little more humbled because he's lost the title. And I think he's going to come back kind of confused as to what the hell happened when I was gone. And there's all these fucking people here. And Jay White.
There's people here. There's people gone. Like, I think.
Do you think that interview that he did, though, is like, it sounds like he's going to be out for much longer.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, he said, like, I mean, the interview, he was like, yeah, I was thinking like February, right? And then he's like, and I went through all this. He's talking about working out, and he's talking about like, yeah, it was like, I was forcing myself in all those matches because I didn't want anyone to see like Kenny the champion who was like not okay. So I fought through, and he's like, and I built all this strength in all these areas of my body. He's like, and everything next to it is so weak. It's like, so I've been working with personal trainers, and he's like, he said something to the effect of, I won't look it up right now, but he's like, if I were doing a match right now, he's like, I have to get the hernia fixed. He was like, if I don't, he was like, I will be laying in the ring. And he's like, what? He's like, I don't look strong if I'm laying in the ring with a fucking hernia and like my guts are literally spilling out inside of me.
Right.
He was like, that doesn't make me. He was like, I need to do this and I need to do these couple other things. And he's like, and it's going to take longer than I planned. I was planning to be gone through February. And he was like, and now it's, again, he could be working it through that because, it was with Meltzer, I think. But like beyond that, I don't know. I mean, he could be working it. I just don't see how it benefits him. It doesn't. I just think
you're right. It does. It seems a little too real. It seems a little too real, like for him to be working it with such, to such a harsh degree, I suppose. Like he's being incredibly kind of open and honest there as well. So
he's got a lot of details.
Right. Well, interesting. Yeah, we'll see where all that goes. I did want to briefly mention our blast from the past. So we take a look at the what happened this time last year. So we did a show on the 23rd of 2021. So just a day later in the year.
Oh, is this like what you do on Ohno Radio Show?
Yeah.
I love this segment. You haven't done it in a while.
I haven't done this in a while. The show is called Bong Resin and Bobby Heenan Quotes. And
that checks out.
That checks out. We definitely talk about the Elimination Chamber fallout. Hey, look at that. Rhea to Raw, Asuka loses a tooth. I remember when that happened. I remember when Asuka was a thing that existed. Like,
I do remember when Asuka.
That did exist.
That did exist. Miz becomes the first 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Okay, this was that week.
Yeah. Is Alexa Bliss related to Papa Shango? Is in my list.
Probably
because of the goo. Goo.
Randy Orton, the black slime.
The A&E biography series had just come out, and
top dollar.
It was announced. The exploding barbed wire death match was just announced just before
we
this
all
show.
Had such high hopes.
Yeah,
didn't we?
So it was just before Revolution. I
Evolution.
like this one. Tully Blanchard returns to the ring, and he's going to murder Marco Stunt. I never got to see him really truly murder Marco Stunt, but like,
Didn't.
I
Yeah.
wish that would have happened.
I will say the barbed wire match. Imagine, I don't know if I did this, but like that was like such a good big build up to that death match.
Yeah.
And then to be like, imagine you like grabbed a bunch of your friends who weren't into wrestling and everything. And you were
Right.
like, fucking death match. This thing's gonna
Check this shit
explode. Like
out.
blah blah. And then that happened. That's a
You're
bad
just like,
look.
69.
They're
be
like
gone.
they're like, we told you wrestling was lame.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like,
Like,
no, but
fuck
it's
you.
it's better.
Still
I
real for
promise.
me.
It was just this one time they didn't do the pyro like
Yeah. I swear to God, this.
It's better. God damn it. I hate you
Have you heard of
guys.
Roman Reigns?
Tony said the 6th participant for the Face of the Revolution ladder match will be revealed at the pay-per-view. Who was that? Was that Leo Rush?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was Leo Rush, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it
Yep.
sounds right. That sounds right.
How well over that went.
Yeah. Just the Revolution. Oh, Revolution card, which was, of course, the exploding barbed wire death match, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, Hikaru Shida versus the tournament winner, who was that Nyla Rose? No, I can't remember.
Probably.
Can't remember that one. Bucks versus Jericho and MJF. Damn, that's when Jericho and MJF were still together.
Oh wow.
Think about that. That seems like longer than a year ago to me.
Yeah, it definitely seems
know?
like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I can't believe it's only been.
Since Wardlow and MJF were in the inner circle, like,
Yeah.
like that was only a year ago apparently.
Shit.
Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus Darby Allin and Sting. Okay, so that was the street fight. That was the cinematic one.
The cinematic match.
Face of the Revolution ladder match. That was the one where Cody Rhodes stood on the stage for half of it, like pretending to be injured.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That he was just back, like, and you could just go to the back, you fucking asshole. Why are you still out here, like,
And then he
distracting
just
the
came
whole
back
match?
out anyway, and
Yeah.
fucking twat.
Who won that shit?
I
I don't fucking remember that.
don't either, because they obviously didn't win the title, so it didn't matter.
Was that the one? Because Scorpio Sky's in it. Was that the one that Scorpio won?
Oh, it could have been.
The Sonic ring.
That would
The
check
Sonic
out.
ring.
Yeah, might have been that one.
Might have.
And then of course,
Hold on.
match of the night, Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page, of course, like, because Matt Hardy.
The big that was
Oh.
a big money match.
That was the
winner
big
received
money
the loser's
match.
2021 first quarter earnings.
Yes, that's
Right.
correct. That's correct. Yeah, if you find out who
Um,
won that match, let me know.
With
The Face of the Revolution
Face of
ladder
the
match?
Revolution.
Yeah.
It was. How come Wikipedia doesn't? Oh wait, put winners on here. It's
Yeah,
fucking
come on.
Stupid.
That's
That is
important.
stupid.
Like it says that. Well, it says that they would put a C next to their name.
Yeah, but that's like the champion going in it, right? Like that's usually what that designates.
Yeah.
I think. All right, I'm gonna hold on. I'm going to this. Let's see.
While you look for that, like this was the beginning also of Ric Flair becoming extremely bitchy, and Ric Flair was talking on why he and Arn Anderson are no longer close. And he was like, when I was sick, not a word. You spend 10 years being so close with these people, you just wonder what really matters at the end of the day. It means nothing, apparently. So, Rick pretty much has continued that tradition, kind of ever
Of
since
being a bitch.
being a little bitch
Fair.
ever since that. Yeah.
All right, it was. God, dude, wrestling websites and their
They're the
fucking pop-ups.
worst. Oh, they're the worst.
Oh god, yeah.
God. I'm not joining the army. I'm Canadian.
I was gonna
man.
say I don't
Stop.
know that works that way.
Can't do it. Scorpio Sky, you're right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was the Sonic Ring match. I wonder if they'll do, because they're doing another Face of the Revolution ladder match this year. Will it be the Sonic ring again, you think? I mean, the brass ring?
I hope so.
I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
It's a little goofy, but I can get past it because of the, I guess the symbolism and all this.
And Shida defeated Ryo Mizunami.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ryo Mizunami.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember it. It must not have left too great of an impact on me.
On any of us.
On any of us. Yeah, exactly. And so that was pre Britt Baker winning the title then. Presumably.
Britt Baker and Maki
Ito.
Yeah, defeated Riho and Thunder Rosa.
Okay. Wow, it's amazing how much you forget in a year. Like, just those little things.
Yeah, and also most of those matches feel like a lot longer than a year ago.
Yeah, I uploaded that shit like to the cloud.
Yeah, it's nuts. I wanted to share one little thing from the Renee Paquette's podcast sessions, and she was talking with Dax.
Oral sessions.
It's not anymore. She changed it. It's not oral sessions. She dropped the oral.
Who thought that was
right? Yeah,
something you should do.
Exactly. I mean, I like
now
a good
it's
oral.
just sessions.
Yeah, it's just.
I know.
I think it's the sessions or sessions or something. Yes, whatever.
Scott Sessions.
Something like that. I mean,
called the oral session.
I like a little bit of, I like a good oral session, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
If you know.
I mean, I'll take 1 week. If that's what.
If that's what's going on.
If that's what you're producing.
Dude, Dax Harwood from FTR was on there.
Podcast-wise.
And I was like, he's talked a little bit about this before, but his struggles with like body dysmorphia and with like his bulimia when he was younger and all that sort of stuff. And then he was talking very openly about his anxiety and depression and all the things that had come. He was open about his wife's miscarriage, real heavy episode in a lot of it. And of course, they talk about he talks about FTR's experience towards the end there in WWE, and of course, remember they were one of the first ones to ask for their releases, but they weren't granted it for like ages after. Yeah, so he talks about that, which one of the parts I found interesting in there was they had personally trademarked a bunch of their shit, like the no flips, just fists. They had spent over $20,000 on their own trademarks of like the revival, like basically all the stuff that you saw on T-shirts, all their own creations.
Yeah.
And the way they got out of their contracts was, you sign over those trademarks, we'll let you go. So they did. Which I think is fucked up, but that's just one part of the story. Do you remember when FTR got a major beatdown by I think it was all of DX, including Shawn,
I do.
Trix, I know X-Pac was there. I can't speak for any
Hall, and the Outlaws. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so prior to that, Dax had said that he had a conversation with Shawn Michaels about sort of like going through this depression and going essentially losing his smile. And Shawn, this was a one-on-one conversation and related to him, and obviously was like, I've been there, and they had a real heart-to-heart, and he really opened up with him and all this stuff. And it pissed him off so much that as soon as his buddies came by the next day, he was using that as ammunition to clown on him. That was so just fucked up. And then he went on further to say that the only person after essentially getting laying down and getting their asses kicked for all of DX and NWO.
Oh, dude, they got their that was so bad. Everybody hit their finishers on them.
Yep. The only person after that to even talk to them And
Was
certainly the
X-Pac.
only person to thank them was Sean Waltman with X-Pac.
Mhm.
I hadn't heard that story, and I was just
I hadn't heard that either.
and it was
I
just
read that today.
God damn it, Shawn Michaels! Like, yeah, you're a
Yeah.
fucking asshole. Like, and
Still a prick.
and Sean, you're kind of my guy, but like, fuck, dude.
Kind of making it difficult to be your guy
Yeah.
when he's a cocksucker like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was one of those heartbreaking ones, and I will suggest that if you haven't listened to that podcast, anybody out there, and you're into podcasts like this one, you'd probably enjoy it because it's a really good interview and it goes pretty deep.
Well, I know, like Matthew and I met. We met. You were with us when we met. Were you with me when we met X-Pac at all?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, that's right. You had gone back to the hotel, so we were at Starcast. I was getting my tattoo, and literally in the middle of it, the guy doing it was like,
You looked up and
Hey,
it was
X-Pac.
X-Pac?
well, no, X-Pac, that would have been cool, but no, he was just like, shit, X-Pac's upstairs, we're gonna run up and say hi to him real quick, do you mind going? I'm like, nah, fuck it. So we went up and said hi to him, and he was so nice, like,
Yeah.
super fucking nice.
I would very much welcome because I know he's done stuff very recently on the indies. I would welcome a little run from Sean Waltman. Like,
He's got a match this weekend, I think, he's tagging with Joey Janela
Oh, wow.
against Matt Cardona and Brian Myers.
oh, I did see something about that one. What's that for?
GCW.
GCW? Yeah, I did
Yep.
see something with that one. And kudos to Cardona as well with the whole NWA thing. Like,
dude.
I'm not sure we talked about that last week, but
I don't know.
I think we forgot about to talk about it. But
Yeah.
probably because that whole Cody Rhodes situation sort of happened.
Well-
But yeah, but equally, like, I know it's been said a million times by a million different people, but yes, this is the run of his goddamn career for Cardona.
sure
and
is.
and keep it up, man. Like, he's killing it. Absolutely killing it.
He's doing so good, and
Fuck yeah.
you'd love to see it too, because for somebody who was like, this is his reinvention that he needed.
And this is somebody
Because-
that just loves the business so
Yeah.
goddamn much that how can you not kind of like tip your hat to somebody that gets himself over in that way? Like, it's
I mean, this is the second
Yeah.
time in his career that he's independently got himself
Yeah.
over via the internet.
yeah, legend in his own right, man. Like, it's not an easy thing to do.
No,
We'll wrap this up. We kind of talked about this last week, but you weren't here, Duncan, and I do want to get some of your opinions. What do you do with a returning Stone Cold Steve Austin at Mania?
not break his neck again.
Didn't they like shut that down on Raw last night? Isn't Vince pissed the rumors were going around? So I was
did hear
reading.
that. Yeah,
I must have missed that. I did not catch all of Raw. I only caught highlights. So
didn't
if
catch
I
a
missed something with that,
headline.
I did not catch.
no, I did read that Vince was mad about Austin like teasing a return.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I think
You could easily just have him be the fucking host of WrestleMania.
that's all
And
you really
That's
need
all
to
you
do.
need to do.
Yeah, like
it's
I
in
mean,
Texas.
And then he can stun KO after KO comes and bitches, why am I not on the show, Steve? And like, I'm still like,
It's a 2-day show,
Yeah.
Steve. Why am I not on? it?
yeah, and then he can stun him, or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, or this could actually, hear me out here. Hear me out. Just had an idea.
Don't lose it.
So, what if this all of KO bitching to be on WrestleMania leads him to be the co-host of WrestleMania with Stone Cold? That would actually be hilarious with KO's
and he
mic
gets
skills.
stunned either way.
And he gets stunned either way.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have a match, but him and Stone Cold can tag team that together, and it would actually be fucking hilarious. That would work.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like, he's turning heel already, so it would sort of fit in that kind of regard. And he's been like, he's been dissing Dallas or Texas or whatever, like, lately.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of fits into the narrative. Like, you could play with that. I don't know. I don't want to
Are you-
see Stone Cold exposed in a match. That's, I guess, what
No, I
that's,
don't
that's
either.
the
And
thing.
that's the thing. Like, I don't need to see Stone Cold in a match.
No.
We said last week, Duncan, when you unfortunately weren't on, but we said this could ruin the legacy of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Absolutely.
Don't
And you
pull a
don't do
Shawn.
that.
Don't pull a a taker in a sense.
There's no reason to go out and have, like, the expectations will be too high. Even if he did an amazing job, he would never live up to it.
No,
Yeah.
he wouldn't.
Everyone remembers it, and when they see his brawler style and everything, like, and at an older age, it's not gonna fucking work.
No.
He's absolutely not.
And
He wouldn't be as. It won't be believable at
It won't.
50
Yeah,
years
we
old.
all know it. Yeah,
Not
And I
knowing what we
love
know about
fucking
his
Stone Cold.
injuries
We all
as
do.
well.
Right.
Like,
Right. Exactly.
could he even, like, I don't want to see him do a stunner. Like, I don't, like, I feel like I'm
he
going to
did it
hurt
the last time they were
Yeah,
in
he
Dallas,
did.
and
He
it didn't
did.
look good.
didn't he kick what's his name in the nuts at least during the pandemic when he did
Yeah.
it in the ring at the? Yeah, he
Yeah.
like missed and kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he can't even.
He can't even get his
Can't
old
even get
man
his
knees
foot up.
that high. So
Yeah.
I really hope they reconsider that if that was on the table, and maybe that is just the internet going crazy with rumors, but still, I just make him the host.
It's Stone Cold versus Cody versus Goldberg.
First Goldberg in the can we just that match?
Versus Jinder Mahal in a Punjabi prison match.
Okay, see, now I'm in.
See,
Yeah.
that is the match that needs to just happen perpetually in Saudi Arabia. Like, that match is just always going on. Like, in
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia
always.
somewhere, there's Cody, Goldberg and Stone Cold.
What if we had Raw Underground permanently set up in Saudi Arabia?
Pretty sure that it is the Raw Underground in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, look,
Yep.
It kind of
Um,
just with a little more
NXT,
money.
NXT 2 Roads.
Yep.
I got something for you guys,
All right,
real quick,
wrap us up.
as a wrap up. What do you guys think about the possible third member of House of Black, possibly being Buddy Murphy,
Buddy Matthews,
also known as Matthew? Yeah, Buddy Matthews.
Right. Okay. From a fundamental level of Alistair at the time and Buddy Murphy having great chemistry and great matches together, and would like, I could see it working in that regard together quite well. It leaves me cold. It leaves me a little like, that doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for me, and I don't think that they've gone so like deep with the aesthetic with Malachi, and now with Brody King. He'd look really sort of out of place, wouldn't he?
Yes.
He would look out of place in the character that we know him as, Buddy Murphy.
I mean, if he shows up when he's like fucking like tattooed all up the like ass.
No, I'm just saying, but he could be more of like a darker, almost like
Right.
Pac, like or Pac,
Yeah.
like similar build, like, I don't know,
I would have just put
don't-
Pac in
it
there.
doesn't.
but like who else?
But
So
Pac
who
also doesn't do anything for me.
but
Pac.
who
No.
who
In the
is
House
the
of Black,
third?
no.
Who
Okay.
is the third member then?
Marty Scurll.
Yes. That fits.
That fits perfect. Villain Enterprises. You've got that whole connection with Brody King. What was the other name they had with the? Because wasn't their tag team name something different, or was that the one with PCO? I can't remember. Because there's Villain Enterprises, and then there was the other thing. The
Violence Unlimited.
Thank you, Violence Unlimited. Was that Brody King and PCO, or was that? Am I mixing? Am I mixing the two up?
No, it was a Brody King faction, but it wasn't.
And I think it's sort of like then sort of kind of merged or kind of joined with Villain Enterprises, or something like that, or kind of. I feel like that's what happened, but I do feel like that would be a good fit.
As far as like, I don't know, it has to be somebody that sort of, man.
I miss it. I miss it.
I do too.
I miss
Every time he posts, like, because he's still doing
It was
shows.
yeah. There was a recently one on Instagram.
Yeah. Then like,
yeah.
you know, I'll respond to it, and I'm just like, man, I fucking love that entrance still.
Yeah,
It's
and that
good.
entrance happened on one of his most recent ones, and everyone was doing them.
Was it the like? Because I know he was down in Puerto Rico. He's wrestling down there.
No, this one was. I don't know if it was in the States or if it was when he went over to Poland, because he went over and he did
that would make sense.
It might have been Poland, but he like it was his first time back as the villain, because he hadn't been wearing, like, in Puerto Rico, he hadn't been wearing the mask. He had like this longer hair, as all of his hair had kind of grown out, and then he went full like back to the top knot, and so
wonder why he did that in Puerto Rico, to change it up, like maybe just to kind of put some distance and like the allegations in a sense too, or
maybe,
like,
dude, here's the thing about
it was Poland.
It was Poland.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It was Krampus versus Marty Scurll.
Yes.
Krampus.
Yeah, They have a dude that dresses like Krampus.
That's funny. That's cool.
It's pretty cool. I think that like the allegations have been so back and forth and all over the place that a lot of people that got caught up in it, some people have just forgotten about it. You know what I mean? Like, so
like we always said, if Hogan can come back and be part of the Then Now Forever, then anything can happen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and Marty's too good of a character. You know, the villain is like, I fucking love the villain.
Yep.
Still.
Well, me too. Me too. I want to see it again. I hope that we do. And that's just always remember, he did some scummy shit, but none of it was illegal. Like it's
true.
It's a different scenario than some other cases in that whole
100%.
speaking out movement. So best of luck to him, and best of luck to, of course, NXT 2.0 Rhodes. And on that note, I think we'll wrap things up for the evening. Let's go ahead and get some goddamn outro music up in this bitch. I got to, apparently my landlord's called me twice since I've been doing this show, so I got to call him. That doesn't seem like a good thing. And
doesn't sound fun.
Nope, and I got to get up early, for tomorrow, but let me see here. I think I'm good for a Tuesday show next week. Yeah, I'll be good for a Tuesday show next week. Week after, we might have to take a week off, but hey, things happen. And you know what? If you guys want to do a show without me, you of course are always able to do so. So you never know. You might hear an ONW without me. Freebird rule, exactly. Guys, I love you to death. If you're out there, please make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ONRS. Check out the Ohno Radio Show. Check out OhnoWrestling.com. Twitch.tv/ONRS Live if you ever want to check us out live. Usually Tuesdays around 8 or 8:30, but the time does change. So that's why you got to be in our Facebook group. Facebook.com/groups/Ohno Wrestling, and that's where you're going to find all the information about what's coming up on the program. Also, you get to interact with us, and there's always people posting in sort of threads about any like major events or anything really big that's going on. We got a great community over there, and we love you. And boys, what do we say when we get out of here?